I want to say something here say it plainly, without cheering, without booing, without wearing a red hat or a blue one. This is not about whether you like Donald Trump or not. We have to get above that kind of conversation. This is about, will America still have a steering wheel in the world? If the Supreme Court of the United States rules that the president cannot impose all of the tariffs the way he has, something is going to snap, and it is bigger than just trade. Tariffs are not a tax line item. Tariffs are a lever. They are how the United States, without firing a bullet, forces negotiations, disciplines bad actors, signals seriousness in a world that only respects strength backed by action. The reason why Donald Trump is able to change the world right now is because people are taking the president of the United States seriously, really, truly seriously for the first time, because he's not playing by the same rules that have been established by the same people that have been screwing us forever. He's like, I'm not playing that game. This is a different game. And if you remove that lever, you don't get cheaper goods. You get gravity. Because here's the truth that really everybody needs to know but won't say out loud. America's economy doesn't run on innovation or labor or capital. It runs on leverage. Leverage. On the quiet understanding that when the United States says enough, it means that enough is enough. And that word holds meaning to the rest of the world. If the court takes that away, the world doesn't pause to admire our constitutional process in any way, shape, or form. The world moves, and it moves fast. If the Supreme Court decides that the president does not have the power to do what he has done, you're not going to feel it, the next morning when you're buying coffee. But you will feel it when your job becomes non-competitive. And we're having enough problems with that as it is. When your pension assumes growth that never arrives. When your kid discovers that they're competing not just with the kid down the street, but also with the state-subsidized labor halfway around the globe. We've seen all of that happen. That's what he's reversing with tariffs. This ruling, if it goes that way, would not be a policy disagreement. It is a tidal wave, and a wave that tells every capital on earth America can't act decisively. Even when it wants to, it can't. Already we're teaching the world that every 4 years we change directions. If you don't think that if the Democrats win in 2028, we're going to turn this ship around as fast as they possibly can, and they will be going the 180 degrees in the other, you lose respect for the world. The world is like, they don't know what they're doing. We can't trust them because they're constantly changing. Because what comes next will not be decided by the voters. It'll be decided by governments that don't ask permission, don't consult courts, they don't apologize for advancing their own people first. This is not about Trump's legacy. It's about whether your children inherit a country that can set its own terms or one that is permanently reacting to terms that is set by others. And I don't want to react to those terms set by the rest of the world anymore. But that's the real cost here. So what is going to happen here will happen fast. In the first 90 days, China will interpret this ruling as structural weakness, not legal nuance. They won't say constitutional anything. They'll say the president is a lame duck and they can't do any of those things. Within 30 days, all the trade negotiations stall or they just walk on them. State-subsidized exports surge, especially steel, EV components, batteries, solar electronics, all of those things are back in a big way. Quiet pressure ramps up on U.S. allies to begin signing bilateral deals, excluding Washington. Within 60 days, currency management intensifies to undercut U.S. producers. Belt and Road financing out of China is remarketed as stable because the U.S. is now full of uncertainty. We just don't know. Tech and supply chain decoupling efforts accelerate, this time now in China's favor. By 90 days, China positions itself as the predictable partner. And they are. Because one guy makes the decisions. I don't want to be that country. But we cannot continue to go back and forth, back and forth. U.S. companies are going to face a choice. Move your production abroad or lose margin. And Beijing's going to lock in long-term advantages while Washington is sitting here debating. Here's the thing. The Supreme Court, what they're going to say is the Senate and the House need to set the rules on this. I'm hoping that they will split the baby at worst, and they'll say he can do this. It is an emergency, but the Senate and the House need to pass some laws. If they just say, nope, he doesn't have that power, then it has to go back to the House and Senate, and they have to pass the laws. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They're never going to pass anything. That's why this is effective, because Congress can't do a damn thing. This is not theoretical. This is muscle memory. The European Union is going to respond differently, but not less consequently. I mean, they're going to, within 30 days, the public statement expressed respect for the court. Private conversations are going to go to containment of the U.S. because we're unpredictable. All of our trade talks, all of this stuff, everything that we have done, everything that Donald Trump has done, all of the stuff where he is moving these companies into the United States to help build, to make sure that we are the leader in rare earth minerals, all that stuff disappears, gang. It all disappears because trade is not about taxes. For Donald Trump, trade is about policy. It's about getting countries to act the way we want them to act. And that's what they're supposed to be. Everybody's made this about taxes. And it's nice that we're getting money, but that's not what it's really about. And by the way, we are getting money. It's shock of all shocks. They haven't collapsed the economy. Everything the experts said seemed to be wrong. This is going to drive inflation through record rates. Well, no, he's actually reversed it. We're now down to 2% inflation where it was 9% inflation. How has he done that? I don't know. I mean, he keeps saying to me, Glenn, I'm going to have you a believer in tariffs one of these days. And I'm close because I don't know how this is working. It goes against everything I believe tariffs mean. I don't know. But I do know this. You turn this off, and America is in trouble immediately. You can dislike Trump. You can cheer the court if you want, but understand what you are cheering for, because when the lever breaks, the wave does not ask who you voted for. It hits all of us. And if you are for a new world order, as Mark Carney has just said, the Prime Minister of Canada, as he wants to side with China, that's exactly what this will further. I think you need to urge your friends to get closer to God, get closer to family, repair the things that you can repair, correct the problems in your own life that you can correct, try to be a better human being, try to be somebody who can be trusted. Because trust, I'll tell you, the most important, rare earth minerals is not the most important commodity. The most important commodity will be trust. In 3 years, you're going to see a world that is so full of tech that you will never know what's real. You won't know who to trust. You won't know anything. Because how many times now do you get online and you're like, is that real or is that not real? I don't know what that is. Because people are using AI and they're not saying this is AI. That's a real problem. You have people who are bad actors, people who think it's funny, people who are just trying to advance some sort of, I don't know, whatever. And they're messing it up for the rest of us, and we're buying into a lot of this. And every time you are wrong on something, your credibility goes down a little bit. And I'm telling you, credibility is the only thing that will matter in 3 years. You say what you mean and mean what you say. You've thought things through. You're not on anyone's team. You're on Team America, which means Team Constitution, Team Bill of Rights. That's what America is. Without those two things, we're Great Britain. I don't want to be Great Britain. See, that's the funny thing. If you listen to them overseas, they all say, we're free. We have freedom of speech, just as much freedom of speech as they do in America. Really? Is that why your government's putting you in jail right now and our government can't? That's the difference. You want to be on Team America, you're on Team Constitution and Team Bill of Rights. And then just do what the Lord tells you to do. Be a better human being every single day. Try to be more like him. Treat people with respect. Listen to people. And have reasonable conversations. And when people do not want to have reasonable conversations with you, withdraw. When people just want to spout lies all around you and everybody's doing it in a room, withdraw. Don't be a part of it. Don't be a part of it. Everything is going to change. For us to survive, we're going to have to count on one another. And to count on one another, we have to be able to know what the truth is. Charlie Kirk is not a time traveler. Okay? I don't need to say more than that. Guard your credibility.